What's going on, workforce? Brian here, and today we're talking about common mistakes that healers make when playing Final Fantasy XIV. In this guide, we're going to be breaking it down for some very common misconceptions or issues that new healers can make, and hopefully to help introduce you to the role within Final Fantasy XIV. If you have any questions or tips of your own, please leave them in the comments below, and I'd love to hear what you have to say about healing in Final Fantasy XIV. But without further ado, let's dive in. One common mistake that people make is lining of sight. If you cannot see the target, you're not going to be able to heal them, and this is not if your camera can see the target, but if you can see the target yourself. Being able to see your target allows you to heal them. Not being able to see your target will not allow you to heal them. This is incredibly important. This goes for the healer as well as for the tank or DPS that might be playing the job. So just keep that in mind. Because it's hyper important. Not all the fights are going to have a mechanic that won't allow you to see your target, but it's really critical when healing. Another common mistake is healing over time before threat can be established. If you put a dot on a target, it's going to constantly generate hate for you. Now, hate isn't necessarily just a bad thing, but it can end up being something very critical when it comes down to how the game is played. So if you go and put like a dot on a target, like your whole party for Medica 2, for example, that's going to create even more hate that's going to build up over time and thus allow the enemies to come focus in on you. You're going to end up taking a few hits, and it's going to make your tank have to go back and do some recovery to be able to get everybody in line. Now, another common mistake is overhealing. This is where you're going to be healing your target more than what they need. Every heal that you do that does not recover hit points is only going to be burning your mana and thus also generate hate in which that you don't necessarily need it. So if your target is full up, don't worry about healing them. Now, this is not to be confused with pre-casting. Pre-casting can easily be a skill that is acquired to allow you to get heals off that's anticipatory to the damage that's going out. But this requires just some knowledge of the fight and some knowledge of the cast time and maybe even a little bit of knowledge of any kind of lag or ping that you might have, because various things get calculated and displayed at different times. Another mistake that I commonly see made is that when you have hate, you don't run to your tank, or essentially your black mage in this instructional video. What this does is it has your tank then have to chase after the enemies in hand. So what you want to do is you want to run to them so that way they can start to reestablish the threat and the hate in this case. So that is very important, and you want to try to avoid running away from your tank at all costs. Another mistake I see making is where you don't get out of AoEs, where you're essentially going to prioritize finishing the cast instead of running out of the AoE. Now, some AoEs you're going to be able to survive from. However, if this continues to stack, you're going to find yourself in a world of hurt. You cannot heal when you're dead, so you're going to want to try to get as far away from these AoEs as possible. Now, this is where instacast abilities really come into play and have a huge benefit. This allows you to heal on the move and do whatever you need to do. Now, another thing you can also notice as a healer is that you're able to take off various dots that have a blue line over them in the party list. So keep that in mind, that if a party member is having these dots on them, you can remove them. Again, it's going to be a matter of prioritization. You're going to have to make some decisions and go from there. Now, lastly, this isn't a mistake that just healers make, but it's needed when talking about it here. We can often see and place blame on the healer alone rather than actually looking inwards at ourselves. As players, perhaps we should ask ourselves, what could I have done better, rather than looking somewhere else and blaming blame on any one mistake. Sure, there are obvious circumstances where this isn't true, where one player is essentially dragging down the team. But at its core, we should be asking ourselves, what could we do better when it comes down to this content? And thus we can find ourselves making a better way forward. Now, that all being said, I do want to say thank you to Rock Druid for helping me make this guide, for coming along and helping me to make mistakes as a healer and not obviously do it in a doo-doo finder in which that other people would be sorely disappointed in their healer coming in and specifically making mistakes. But guys, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you have any tips or any comments or any questions, please leave them in the description below. I look forward to talking with you about this and anything else related to video games. For Work to Game, my name is Brian. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Hey, it's me. It's been a while since I talked to you guys directly this way, but don't tell anybody. We've got even more epic content planned for this channel. The response has been incredible. We hope to see you. If you're new, hit subscribe, leave us a comment. I'd like to talk to you more about video games. I can't seem to speak my language. All right.